How's it going, people? Hope you are all well. Welcome back to Football's 12th Man podcast. I'm your host, Dan Potts, and I'm with none other than my main man, Lee Gunner. We're here to talk all things Arsenal in the international break, which absolutely bores the pants off me. I don't know about you, Lee. Let's talk about that quick, man. International.
Mate. Did you last the 90 minutes?
Do you know what, man? I'd made the stupidest decision ever. I decided to do a watch along for this game just to test it out on the channel. Oh, what a stupid mistake! Now, listen. I got to big up everyone for watching, by the way. So I mustn't diss it too much. But my God, what an awful game to pick for that, man! I tell you, I had loads of people texting me saying, "Are you asleep yet? Are you asleep yet?" And they were like, "You haven't replied. You must be asleep." And I was like, I didn't reply because I was on a watch along. My apologies. But my God, I struggled with that. And I was on my own, Gunner. So it was me talking the way through it, trying to keep everyone else.
When you're doing a watch along on your own, you need the chat to be active. And when the game's dead.
Do you know what was funny though? We were talking, I had like the chat, and big up the chat, by the way, because majority of them were here with us. And they were like, so who do you prefer, Pires or Lundberg? It was stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It was like, back in reminiscing, it was such a poor game.
Mate, it's funny because the amount of Arsenal games, Dan, that I've done watch-alongs for, like whether it be on my own or even with Olo or before that with Chig and that, and the game's that dead that it's, what's your favourite type of food? Like, are you bum or boobs? Like stuff like that. It's like, because the game's so dead. Yeah, and it's awful, crazy, isn't it? Do you know what's mad though? Yeah, my youngest brother flew all the way to Italy, mate, to go and watch it, and he's at Wembley tonight.
No, bro.
Mate, I tell him all the time. I'm like, why are you flying around the world to watch this, Dross? He's going to Qatar for the World Cup. I'm just like, mate, just sell the tickets, mate. Somebody will buy them. Just get rid of them.
Honestly, man. Listen, big up Luke as well, man. Big up Luke. Evening, Dan and Lee. I enjoyed the England game because you were watch along. Thanks a lot, bro. And you were very active in there, man. I'll tell you that. Thank you so much.
The Italians' goal was decent. Poor Mark.
That first touch was class, bro. That was a class first touch. But England are dead, mate. We ain't winning nothing under this guy. This guy literally, right? And I know that we've had our question marks over Arteta, but a bit like you, I didn't want Southgate from day one. Same. And then all of a sudden, he got to the semi-finals and finals, which no one ever says this, by the way, but a better manager would have probably definitely won us the last competition against Italy and may have even beaten France.
I just said the exact same thing with Kenny and Jez. I said even Wenger, who won nothing in Europe ever, would have won either the World Cup or the Euros with that squad. Yeah, all day long.
Isn't it?
Bro, the only decent team we had to play to get to the final in the World Cup was Croatia. That was it. We battered everyone. Yeah, I know we scored loads of penalties and all of this crap. Yeah, but we should have got to the
Jez,
final.
By the way. Sorry, man.
Big up Jez. We should have got to the final. We then get to the final in the Euros, and its substitutions were like the substitutions Arteta made against Man United the other day. It was just baffling. Yeah, and it's like, mate, if we had, like, and I said this with the lads a minute ago, if we had any half decent manager of any of the top 5 leagues in charge of them 2 squads, some of the players wouldn't have made it anyway, and we would have won at least one of them. Even Wenger would have won one of them, mate. Yeah, I fully believe that. But do you know what the mad thing is? It's like I don't really watch them down there. I didn't watch any of the Euros apart from the final for England. I don't think.
All right.
Actually, maybe I watched one other game. I watched some of the first couple of games, and I was like, this is just boring. 0-0s, 1-0s. I was like, I ain't bothered. Yeah,
it weren't the toughest of routes, mate. Trust me, it weren't the toughest of routes England had to get to both.
No, it weren't. But his squad, mate, like, and this is what pees me off with some of these managers, and it's always been the same with England. It is literally like, let's just pick the favourites. He came out when he got the job and said he's going to pick players based on merit. Well, on that basis, then, how's Luke Shaw in the squad? How's Harry Maguire there? How's Tomori not starting the game? He's playing for the champions of Italy. Yeah, week in, week out. He should be a shoo-in for that starting 11. Yeah, and then you've got 12 defenders in the squad, and then he plays Saka at left back. Wait, this is prime Wenger, by the way. When around 2017-ish, yeah, when maybe I can't remember what year it was, when we went to Anfield, and I remember I was there. Right, and we were singing, we're effing shit, we're that non-stop for 20 minutes, mate. Yeah, and he played Oxlade-Chamberlain at right wing back.
Right wing back. I remember that.
Yeah, knowing he was that was one of the worst footballing performances I've ever seen from a footballer, mate. Yeah, he did not want to be on that pitch. Yeah, and he played him at right wing back. Maybe it was before that. We just signed Lacazette and Kolasinac. We're driving all the way up to Liverpool. We're like, right, we're going to see Laka, and he sat him on the bench. It's like,
I remember this.
What Southgate reminds me of. It's like prime Wenger when he was at the end. Like, he don't know his arse from his elbow, and it's just like, you know, you picked this is. Then let's have it right here, Dan. This is the final selection before he makes his final squad for the World Cup. This is the last internationals before the World Cup. So he picks Ivan Toney, and you think, wow, finally Ivan Toney's
brought this up.
Recognition, and they don't put him in the squad the other night. And I'm like,
unreal, mate. Unreal.
So
now he's left Tomori at home as well. You know this tonight.
Has he?
Yeah, man.
Oh my days, this guy needs sacking. I'm going to ask you this question, right? Do you think, and my neighbour opposite, who lives directly opposite in my block here, he's German. They're German. Yeah, they just moved in May. I'm hiding tomorrow, mate. I'm going to have to sneak out because I know we're losing tonight. Do you think if we do lose, they'll sack him this close to a World Cup? Or do you think he'll take us to the World Cup?
We're stuck with him, bro. We're stuck with him. We'll be stuck with this guy. Honestly, we'll be stuck with him. It's like I have as much faith as us keeping Southgate as I do us keeping Arteta. So trust me, there's trust in the process. Do you know what? This has come up at a good time, this super chat. And I'm going to bring it in because I was going to ask you this, man. Big up George, by the way. Thanks for the super chat, bro. Says big up Lee and Dan. Who would you guys have as the next England manager? Because I'm a bit old schooly. I quite like the English manager to be English. And I would have gone for Potter or Eddie Howe over this guy, personally. Now, I'm not saying both of those are absolutely wicked, but you'd see an attractive style of football, and they've actually got the CV. I know that they haven't won at the elite level, but Southgate's won. Let's be honest, naff all. These guys have actually taken something.
The other day, right? Because I did a show with Goonie, I think it was the other day. Southgate out, right? And he's only ever managed Middlesbrough. He got them relegated with 29.8% win record. He then had a 6-year layoff or something, and then got the under-21 job. He won the Toulon tournament, and then I think he came runner-up in the youth version of the Euros and the youth version of the Nations League. And off of the back of that, he then gets the full England job. He then comes runner-up again in the Euros and third or fourth loser, or second or third loser, or whatever it was in the World Cup. Right? It's a good question though. Potter has won, I think, 3 trophies in Sweden. He took one team from 4th division into Europa League and beat us at the Emirates. I was at the game.
Yeah, so was I,
we were played off the park that night by Östersund, by the way. Östersund, I mean, who even are they? Yeah, but the thing is that Eddie Howe's another one. Like you could say, okay, yeah, both of them play great football. They play a great, attractive style of football, and fans want to be entertained. That's all. Entertainment and trophies. That's all football is. Yeah, let's be real. But if you're not getting trophies, you at least want to be entertained, right? Well, this guy is not doing either. So I don't know. I couldn't care whether it's a foreign manager or not, to be honest. But if they was to sack him now, the only one who stands out really is Scott Parker. You'd get half decent football, but would he be tactically good enough to go and win you something? Probably not. But at least you'd have a good time watching it.
Listen, man, we got
yes man as well, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. He did. I don't
passion.
know.
You get passion, that's for sure.
Yeah, proper passion.
Whether that's enough.
Merchants.
Passion merchants. Yeah. Brendan Rodgers is being shouted. Pochettino, Brendan Rodgers, Thomas Tuchel, they're all coming in the chat.
England, mate. Pochettino is one of the most overrated managers ever. Yeah, real talk. I think him and Potter have won the same. Yeah, like in terms of trophy.
Potter's won more, isn't he? Oh yeah, of course. Now PSG's won stuff, hasn't he?
Yeah, he won stuff for PSG. But bro, let's be real. You could put an elephant in charge of the PSG job and they're winning the title. Yeah, it's mad. So I don't want Poch anywhere near it. And there's a reason Chelsea went for Potter rather than Poch. Yeah, Poch plays nice football. Of course he does. Yeah, but he's the nearly good manager, isn't he? He's nearly decent. Like
like Brendan, I suppose. A bit like Brendan Rodgers, nearly good.
Yeah, nearly good, isn't he? Although at Celtic. But then at the time, Rangers
I could win them. Look at Gerrard. Gerrard's won stuff at Rangers. He can't get a ball kicked more than 2 passes at Villa, can he? Crikey.
It's mad. It's mad.
This is another one for me that I really rate as a manager. I know they've had a shocking start and they've bought about 400 managers. This Steve Cooper has done mad things, mate. When he took over Nottingham Forest, they were dead, mate. They were going down to League One. Like, no
They're
real
as bad
talk.
as his hairline.
Yeah.
Bro,
Oh,
have
mate.
you ever watched Kevin and Perry Go Large?
Yeah, love that.
Bro,
love that.
He
man.
should have been in that movie because he looks like he's buzzing every time I see him. He's like, just come back from Ibiza or somewhere
just
like
come
this.
from Ibiza rocks.
He's always sipping on water, man. Man's double dropping mitsies and everything. Do you know what I mean?
Honestly, man. Listen, Lee, if I had to give you, if you had a fiver to put on, who would you go for to win the World Cup, man?
I got asked this the other day. You got to look at Brazil, man. Brazil and France. And I know there's all these stories, but this always comes out for a tournament. No, the French team are in disarray and all that crap. Yeah, France have still got quality players, and I think their manager's half decent. I don't rate him that highly, but I think Deschamps is a very good manager. It helps when you've got a very good squad, but you've still got a massive pool of players to pick from. You've still got to pick something half sensible, or you're getting sacked. Yeah, that's how these nations work. If it was a gun to my head with fiver to spend that to pick one, I'd say Brazil. I think if you look at their front line, their midfield and their defense, I think they're probably the most balanced of the lot. They've got Casemiro protecting that back line. The only thing I will say about Brazil, they have got a lot of players that are 35, 33, 36. Thiago's 38. Casemiro, I think, is 30 years old, but he's just going to sit and patrol in front. You got Fabinho. I don't think he's that amazing, but he's still decent, isn't he? He's still all right. And then their front line, I mean, that's just a joke. Bro, the pool of players they compete with, Vinicius, Richarlison, Jesus. You know, they've got some blimmin' good players.
Mad depth, innit? Do you know the other team, though, right? I'm with you. Brazil or France were the two that I thought of. Do you know the team that I would look at and say they've got a chance now that they're defensively solid, something they ain't been for years? Argentina. They ain't lost from 34 games. So that's a team that are now at the back. They've obviously got Romero.
With a World Cup.
Imagine. Put respect on the guy's name. My goat. Yeah, put respect on his name, finally, man. I can't stand the people, the hate he gets is unreal, man. But
Messi is the most naturally gifted footballer I've ever seen.
100.
Like, it just makes it look effortless, man.
100.
I was never old enough to really watch Maradona, apart from when he was coked off his face. Yeah, but like when you look back at the clips of Maradona, like I can see why people compare Messi and Maradona. Like they're both very small. They both played the similar position. They could both just run around people for fun. But I never really see Maradona's whole career because I wasn't even born. So yeah, for me, Messi is just the best player. I don't know how anyone can ever put Ronaldo in that bracket. Yeah, he is not on that level.
I've had this for a long time, in my opinion. And the thing is, I never diss Ronaldo because you can't. Like, he's also unbelievable at football and won everything there is to win and done it, at 3 different leagues. But for me, I have never ever gone, wow, is that guy human with Ronaldo? Whereas I have many a time with Messi. And I've seen Messi. Ronaldo always scores against Arsenal. I've seen Messi destroy Arsenal, not just score.
Do you remember we beat them
4 goals?
Yeah,
Arshavin. Yeah.
And then Bentner put us 3-1 up, didn't he? Yeah,
remember that?
Nou Camp, he scored. We were like Bentner's. We were thinking this is the year we beat Barca, and then Messi went, nah, not today, mate. He dinked Almunia and tapped it in. It's like you're taking the piss.
Guy was unreal, man.
I remember watching his debut. Yeah, big up the chat. Swedish Chelsea fans says Ronaldinho. I remember his debut. Yeah. And he picked the ball up in his own half, his debut for Barca, run around 3 players, slapped it 35 yards underside of the bar. Yeah, but Messi's debut, Ronaldinho, they brought him on. He was 17. They brought him on. Ronaldinho just scooped the ball over defence, and Messi scored, volleyed it, smashed it in, or took a touch and smashed it in. But he was offside. Literally 40 seconds later, Ronaldinho done exactly the same again, and Messi banged it in the box. And it was like passing the baton over, like, it's your time now, mate. And the goal he scored against Getafe, yeah, the Maradona goal, yeah, where he run nutmeg 1, nutmeg 2, round 3, he's gone round 4, 5, 6, 7, chip. Bro, the guy's just a joke. 91 goals in a calendar year. I mean, it's pathetic. Genius footballer, man. It's a shame he's coming to the end, man, because I sit and watch every week. I'm not even blagging. Every week I sit and watch Messi compilations. Yeah, on YouTube. Yeah, or Messi's best free kicks. Everything Messi can do, everything Ronaldo can do, Messi can do better. Yeah, apart from maybe leap 10 foot up in the air, but he even did that against Rio Ferdinand, didn't he, in the final? So that's why I always think Messi better. Messi's technically
the five for me, I can only go on players that I've seen. I can't count Pelé, Maradona. I didn't see any of them. For me, Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Zidane, and R9. Them five, I don't get anybody get close to them, in my opinion. And I've seen wicked players, Lee. I've seen Thierry on. I've seen Arsenal players. Yeah, I put Zidane in the top 5. He's the 5 for me.
Yeah, Zidane was different, man. He was
unreal, man. Zinedine Zidane, Ronaldinho in terms of on the ball, unbelievably entertaining. R9, killer striker. For me, like that with Henry, if not a bit better. When Ronaldo, as in R9, came through, I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I just went, "Whoa, why is he better than everyone else? Like, he is scarily better."
He looked massive on the pitch as well, didn't he, R9?
Unbelievable.
Do you remember the hat-trick he scored against Man United, and all the Man U fans just stood up and clapped him?
No, that says enough. That says it all, man. That's
and Man United were like top team back then. Like they were winning everything back then. Prime Fergie and that, but. Mate, when Ronaldo, R9 comes to your ground, slaps a hat-trick and the whole crowd's cheering. Like, that tells you how good the player is, isn't it? Proper footballer, man.
Lee, let me, random question. How many games do you reckon you've been to watch Arsenal, like live? Like roughly?
500.
Oh, okay. Apparently you're an armchair fan, according to this idiot. And you shouldn't be allowed on the channel.
How many's he been to?
Unbelievable. Who is this guy? John J. Wheat. Why do you have Lee on your channel? The man is an armchair expert. Oh, at least you're an expert, mate. Should be match going fans. That's maybe that's a compliment, brother.
Was he in Ostersund? Because I was when we beat him. Yeah, or Belarus when we played Barty. We slapped 5 past him in Barty. Was you there, mate? I don't know. I didn't see you. Yeah. What about Newcastle away? Swansea away when we got soaked and I got in at 4 a.m. after losing 2-1, and I left my house at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and got in at 4 a.m. Was you there, mate? Probably not.
Lad, I don't get comments like this, man. And do you know what's funny? I don't even.
Atletico away. Was you at the Wanda Metropolitana Stadium in Madrid? Probably not. Armchair fan, mate.
It's mad. And do you know what? I don't even care if people are armchairs fans and they're listening. I couldn't give a damn what people is. If somebody goes to a game or somebody can't go to a game, I know a few of my mates that would love to go to Arsenal games. They either don't have the opportunity in getting tickets, or a couple of my mates are disabled and just can't get there.
Or logistics.
Why do I care?
It's
just mad. It's embarrassing, man. But there we go. Anyway, enough of that. Let's talk Arsenal, man.
Do we have to
process? I know. It's been quite fun, isn't it? It's been quite a good show so far. Now we have to talk about this. Now, listen, things have gone well, man. We have to be real. The first 7 games, albeit Man United was disappointing. It's been good stuff. Top of the league. The Brentford performance I thought was one of the best we've seen in a long time. I was really encouraged by that and convinced by that. And I titled this one on purpose because I wanted to know the difference between a process and progress, and how long it takes for progress in a process. There we go. I've done it. That's a tongue twister, isn't it?
That a few pints.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. Because I've never understood this word. I don't think anybody actually does. And don't shoot me for this. I don't think anybody understands what a process is. We've never had it at Arsenal before. It's never been a word under Arsene Wenger or Unai Emery. But as soon as we got a younger manager in and a younger team, now all of a sudden process is all we hear. Now the process has changed into a youth project. Then it comes back into a process when things are going well all of a sudden. It's very bizarre for me, right? But it is going well at the moment, Lee. And, me and you have had our questions. And I think what's important to say is at the moment, because it's only 7 games in, we can't get too hyped, we can't get too gassed. But I wanted to try and look at things positively for a moment, moving into this Tottenham game, which we'll come into towards the end of the stream. I like what I'm seeing. I'm encouraged by a lot of the players. I think the players are looking good enough now. But in a couple of months' time, Arteta would have been 3 years in, not 3 months in. So 3 years in now, things are starting to look up a bit in terms of how we are playing. I think it's really good to watch. I'm entertained by it. I'm now finally starting to see a style of play. I think it's taken a long time, but at least I'm now starting to see one. I think some of the players are definitely looking better. Granit Xhaka has been superb this year and I think deserves a mention. I've liked what I've seen from Ben White and I had my massive doubts over him at right back. I think he's been good. And I think some of the improvements, particularly with Gabriel Martinelli, who is a player I know that I love, and I know you love, has been fantastic. I think Jesus Saliba and Zinchenko coming into this side definitely has taken us to that next level. But I want to ask you the biggest question of all. Is this sustainable for you, bruv?
To be honest with you, Dan, not with the size of the squad we got.
Yeah,
like we've got a 15-year-old come on the other day who got one touch that bounced straight off of him. Are we going to see him again in the North London derby? Probably not. I don't think we'll see him again for the rest of the season, if I'm honest. I may be wrong, but I don't think he's going to start another game or come on the pitch for another game, should I say. We had a 17-year-old called Sosa on the bench. He's been on the bench a couple of times, never got a kick. We've got 19-year-old Marquinhos on the bench. We've then got Eddie, who, by the way, big up my chat the other night. Eddie Nketiah is 23.
Yeah.
I thought he was 21.
No.
He is 23, bro. Right? And look how dead his career is at 23. At 23, I would have expected him to be a lot further on than he is, being a bench player on 100 grand a week. That's Arsenal Football Club for you, by the way.
Can I just quickly ask you a question on Eddie, bruv? Because a lot of people are saying that this is a new Eddie Nketiah. Now, before I shoot them down, I've seen a little bit of progress in terms of the way that he plays. But it's not enough confidence to encourage me that this guy is going to be able to play a long string of games. If Jesus gets a yellow card at the weekend, we've got this guy up front against Liverpool, and I don't have the confidence that in long term that he can score goals. So I might be able to say fair play. He's bulked up a bit. He looks good off the ball better. He looks good in terms of creativity. He's always been intense and runs around and works hard. And I've actually got nothing wrong with Eddie Nketiah. It's more about the fact that we've put him on 100k a week and made him our number 2 striker that I have an issue with. I didn't actually care that he stayed at Arsenal. I cared that we put him on a mad contract and he's now going to be playing as our backup. That was more my problem. I don't think that's enough. So I wanted to ask you on Eddie this season, have you seen enough to think, yeah, I'm happy with him as number 2, or do you still think we're way short?
Dan, he scored 1 goal.
Yeah.
And that 1 goal, any half-sensible goalkeeper would have saved it. It was right at him.
That was a poor
at him, and he fumbled it. Yeah, so if that was a Premier League goalkeeper, you'd like to think that that's a save. Like, let's be real, it was FC Zurich goalkeeper. I didn't want him here. I didn't want him to stay. We should have took 20 million from West Ham or Palace, whoever it was that offered 20 million for him. He ain't good enough. And like you said, if Jesus gets injured, gets a suspension by getting a yellow card at Tottenham, we've got him up front against Liverpool. Good luck with that. Listen, he may score, he may not. From what I've seen, this manager has begged and begged and begged him to stay. Oh, it's my fault he hasn't had enough of opportunity and blah, blah, blah. They've begged him to stay. And now all he's done is sit on the bench for Jesus. Well, he was sat on the bench last season for Aubameyang. So what's the difference? The only difference I've seen is he's bulked up a bit and he's on a different contract. That's it. Yeah, but because he scored at Stamford Bridge a couple of times, and because he scored a couple of goals in other games, yeah, and he's standing there leaning on and giving it all of this at Chelsea, leaning on their corner flag. I mean, our fans are so easily pleased, Dan. They really are. And I think that with the month that we've got coming up, the question was, is it sustainable? I don't think it is sustainable, Dan. You know, we know that Granit Xhaka, and fair play, I think he's been our best player this season. Yeah, I really do.
Easily. Yeah,
but
quality.
He won't get the plaudits because Jesus will. Because Jesus is new. He's a new player and he's doing a lot.
Shiny toy, yeah.
Yeah. But Granit Xhaka, you know I can't stand him. Yeah,
Likewise.
I can't stand him. And he's lucky he's even at this football club. If that was George Graham era, mate, he would have been booted out the football club. If that was at any club that had any ambition to go on and win a title, he would have been ditched from the squad straight away and booted out the football club at the first opportunity. But this club have kept him. They've put the PR out for him. We see it in the All for Nothing documentary. Oh, I'm at home with my kids and my wife, she says ignore the hate, and all. Everyone gets hate on the internet. I mean, I'm getting people in the chat telling me I'm a bellend. Like, do I care? No. Yeah, when you're looking on Instagram, you can turn your comments off. Yeah, you can. No, Dan, I don't really care. Like, these people are dedicated to watching me, mate, and they're boosting your algorithm. But to go and find a lot of the abuse on social media, you have to actually go into requests. Yeah, like especially on Instagram. If you don't follow someone and they're sending you DM, but you don't follow them, but they follow you, you have to actually press requests on DMs, Dan, to go and see them. But I don't ever press them. Yeah, so when it's poor Granit. But this is all part of a process to get Granit to be the captain of Arsenal again, because he's Mr. Reliable for Arteta. We've seen this manager with his double standards with Pepe and Xhaka before. Pepe got a red card against Leeds. He hung him out to dry in the public, on camera after the game. When Granit Xhaka gets it, he's fully committed. He was just trying to stop a goal.
Just a bit over passionate. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, and the thing is, when you actually look at our squad, Dan, Bukayo Saka, very talented footballer. Martinelli, very talented footballer. Jesus, very talented footballer. Now, after that, we've got Smith Rowe, who's barely ever fit. What else we got? Thomas Partey, barely ever fit. Yeah. Kieran Tierney, barely ever fit. Tomiyasu, barely ever fit. But now, we've got Fabio Vieira. Okay, great goal the other day. Fantastic, mate. Yeah, fantastic. But Martin Odegaard. Okay, what are you now saying he's going to take Odegaard's place? Because he ain't, is he? Because this manager has made Odegaard captain. So where's Vieira fit into this team? Is he now a Europa League player to build him up? Okay, I can accept that. You put him in as a Europa League player, you build up his fitness because, let's be real, he's skinnier than me. Yeah, and in certain games, that's not going to go down well, and he's going to get bulldozed through, yeah? But then if you look at Sambi Lokonga, I've had people telling me he's better than Guendouzi. What planet are they living in, Dan? Yeah, Sambi Lokonga should have gone on loan. Yeah, Sambi Lokonga, I just said this on the show I did with Jez and Kenny, right? How did we get rid of William Saliba for 3 years under this manager, but keep Sambi Lokonga now? Because Saliba was light years and more advanced 3 years ago than this player is now. Yeah. But it's Sambi Lokonga. It's Arteta's man. It's Arteta. You can't diss an Arteta man, Dan. Yeah, because if you do that, you're against the manager. You're negative. You're toxic. Everything has to be positive and rosy. And if you're not, get in the bin. Yeah. I've seen you do shows. Like, I watch a lot of your stuff, yeah, whether it's on here or AFTV. You're one of the only ones I do on there, by the way. And
Cheers, man.
And whether you're doing the show with judges, and I listen to what you're saying, like, and I hear and I see comments like, "Oh, Dan's negative, Dan's this," and I'm like, no, I actually think you're quite mild with it. Like, I can understand why people say I'm negative because I just scream and shout and rant and rave and call everyone a certain. Like, I don't care, Dan. Yeah, you say it a little bit more mild than me, yeah. But what you say, I totally agree with pretty much everything you say, right? And that's not trying to like smoke up your ass. The squad's thin. Dan, we've got less players that are worthy to get in that first team 11 this season than we did last season, and we're in an extra competition this season. With a World Cup coming up, with a condensed window of games before the World Cup, then there's games being rescheduled, like the Man City game, because we had to get the PSV game in. We've got 9 games coming up, mate, in October. 9. That's the most we've ever had in 1 month. And we have got literally, we talk in WhatsApp all the time. We have literally got, 15 players? We can play around 15 players that we've got. Well, out of them, Tomiyasu's injured all the time. Yeah, Partey's injured all the time. Tierney's injured all the time. And Smith Rowe's injured all the time. So now we're down to 11? Maybe 12 if you include Eddie, because Eddie's going to get games. So now we've literally got, 16 out of our squad that are actually of a level of Premier League level, let's say. The rest of them, Dan, I said it the other day. I've said it the last couple of games. That bench the other day against Brentford and that bench the game before that, it is championship level. And I think a lot of people are going to have a short, sharp shock, yeah, that when it all does go tits, which at some point inevitably it will, because we're going to get a major injury to some of these players at some point. Now factor in a World Cup, there's going to be injuries at the World Cup. Yeah, players are going to come back from a World Cup injured, whether that be 1 player or 3 players that have gone on World Cup duty. Martin Odegaard's not qualified for the World Cup, so he can go and do his training or sit down and whatever all through the winter. But then let's not forget Boxing Day, first Premier League games back, and Boxing Day fixtures are notoriously mad for crazy results anyway. Now factor in the fact we've had 9 games, so that I think we've got 3 in November. Now a long layoff. Some of our players are not going to a World Cup, and now they're going to come back and have a Boxing Day fixture. Now you've got that big schedule going all the way through. Yes, you've got the January window, but Dan, we've said all summer, right, that if Mikel Arteta gets us in a title race until the last month of the season, I think we'll both stand up and say, yo, fair enough. Let's get
100%.
Yeah? Right?
100%.
And I think we both admit that we'd do that, yeah? And then we both would do that, yeah? But I just don't see it. Fantastic start. I'm not knocking the start. Apart from United, it's flawless. Yeah, and there was even parts in that United game where I was thinking, do you know what? We could beat them because they ain't all that. But
Agreed.
again, the manager's naivety, the manager's ability to not make decisions at the right times of football matches, and his ability to just think he's that good at what he's doing that he can just throw 3 subs on in one hit at Old Trafford. Totally killed us. They had to play a high line against Man United when they got Sancho, Rashford, and Anthony playing. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Yeah, 3 players that are pretty quick. Yeah, and they're just going to ping ball after ball down, and that's what happened. Bruno and Eriksen were just slapping balls around through the gaps.
Think it's the composure from the manager as well, because when things start looking good, like they did when Saka scored, don't get too excited. Don't lose your heads. You know, we're in the game here. We're the ones in charge. Just keep it calm. And we go, rash. Oh, now it's 3-1 United. And we've done that so many times in the years under Wenger, under Unai Emery. He's watched all this. You know, he played in most of it. He should learn by now that when you get into that situation, don't lose the game. And unfortunately, his naivety
that
showed.
Manchester United game, when we went 1-1, at that point, you move Zinchenko into midfield and take Sambi Lokonga off. And you bring Kieran Tierney on and put him at left back straight away. Yeah, that would have been the first thing I did, the only thing I did at that point. And just say to Kieran, go on there and tell them Zinchenko's in midfield for Sambi. Yeah, and we're going to sit back and shore it up for 10 minutes. Drop back, tell the defence drop back 10 yards. Instead, within 3 minutes, Rashford's clean through on goal through one ball. Saliba's spinning around like a fidget spinner. And now, let's just throw everyone on. Let's just throw it. And then we're so all over the place. United smelt blood. Bang, 3-1. It was embarrassing, really. But I see this happening a lot down this season because let's say that Thomas Partey, we can't rely on this guy for a season, Dan.
No.
Yeah? And people were saying in the summer, get rid of Kieran Tierney because he's always injured. Well, Thomas Partey has played less Premier League games than Kieran Tierney since Partey arrived.
And Tomiyasu as well is another one.
Would you get rid of Partey? Because he's played less games than Kieran Tierney and everyone wanted Tierney gone. Yeah,
this is the thing, man.
One. The guy was out injured for 4 months with a calf injury. How? What are they made of? Glass.
Well, that Smith Rowe's starting to get into that territory, bruv, as well. Like for me, I love Smith Rowe, but this guy, he can't. How can you get injured in a warm down league? Come on, man.
Big season for him this season, mate. Big season for him because he's got the number 10 on his back, Dan, and he can't even get in the team. If all of our players are fit, is he starting every week?
No.
Why has he got number 10? Because again, it was part of the PR from this football club to say, oh, look, we've got the youngster with the number 10. He's got Bergkamp's number. Yeah, we've got Rocky Rocastle's number on Saka, star boy. Yeah, at least Saka's fit every week. Yeah, at least Saka puts in half a decent performance most weeks. Yeah, the other night for England, he was shocking, but he was playing left back. Yeah, but I've seen performances where Saka's not put a shift in, but nobody has said because it's Saka and he's got a bit of credit in the bank, which I get. Yeah, but Smith Rowe's got what credit in the bank? What, just because you're wearing number 10? Our whole process, youth project, whatever you want to call it, has been built around them too. One of them can't get in the squad. He can't start a game even if he's fit. Yeah, and then he gets injured constantly. This is a massive season for Smith Rowe. Yeah, and I think, like, I see The Athletic, I think it was, said that he's got a groin problem and that's due to growth spurts. I mean, like, I don't know what that's all about. He's 22. How much more is he growing?
Like, I thought you stopped growing at 18. What's going on?
How much more is he growing? He's 22 and he's got a problem with his groin.
He's a worry for me, man, because he keeps getting injured. Yeah. And what are we doing in training? You know what I mean? Like, if these people keep crashing down in training, what is actually happening? But I wanted to ask you this because I was with AFT Studio the other day and I said this to, who was I with? I was with Charlene, Robbie and James, I think. And I was talking about our squad depth. And then on the bench at Brentford, I was like, what is happening with this bench? And they were all kind of tongue-in-cheek laughing. And I was like, look, I don't think it's funny, man. Like, we have literally got £400 million worth of players and we still have a bench that is nowhere near good enough. And I said, they said, we've got some players out injured. I said, okay, so when everyone's fit, tell me the 5 subs, because it's 5 subs this year, Lee, as well, right? Tell me the 5 subs that we've got to bring on to change games. And they can't do it because there isn't any. There isn't 5. The ones that are come on, they use Tomiyasu and Tierney as examples. They're not going to come on and change the game. They're going to come on and be either like to like or give us some length or some different terms of defensive stability, right? Smith Rowe was one. I'll give him that one. And that was it. Fabio Vieira, I don't know enough about to know that he's going to come on and change the game. Marquinhos looked really promising to me when he came on against Zurich, but it was against Zurich. I don't know if that's enough. And the other one was Eddie, and we all know that Eddie can come on, run around and give some intensity. Are those 5 subs coming on and changing any game for you, Lee? That's my biggest concern.
The life out of the top tier of the Premier League.
This is my biggest concern, bro. And that's when everyone's fit, by the way. That isn't just, do you know what I mean? If two or three of those get a knock, who do we bring on then? Lokonga and like that 15-year-old? Like it's a really worrying thing for me, man.
We've done nearly 400 million quid under this manager, and that is our bench.
It's a concern for me, man.
And let's be honest here, right? We have got rid of so many midfielders. We got rid of Torreira, Guendouzi. Like, why? Like, okay, cool, Torreira, cool, he didn't want to be here. See you later. Guendouzi was happy to play for Arsenal. Yeah, Guendouzi wanted to play for Arsenal, and he's better than Sambi Lokonga. Yeah, I think he's better than Xhaka as well. I think he's got so much about his game. I think he walks into our team. He can play at number 10 or number 8. Yeah, I think he's a quality player. He can play as a deep lying midfielder. Yeah, there's a reason he gets picked for France. Let's be honest here. They have got a wealth of talent, that French national team, but he gets in the team. Well, he's obviously doing something right, but our fans sit there, Dan, and go, nah, he had an attitude, mate. Well, why? Because he gripped up Malpai and he was defending his goalkeeper. Yeah, well, that's what.
But then have you heard the Marseille manager come out at all and say this guy is impossible to manage? He's absolute nightmare. He's got attitude.
No, but I remember Charlie Boy Watts coming out saying that he was a pain in the arse in training at Marseille, and he kept demanding too much, and he kept having to go at players for kicking the ball at him too hard, and he couldn't, and they didn't control it. The very next game, Marseille manager made him captain. Yeah. So what does that tell you? Like, why would all these stories have come out, and then the next game, like, he's a problem in training, he's this. Well, the Marseille manager went, right, for the next game, you're captain. Let's shut everyone up. Yeah, and I've watched Marseille quite a lot. I wouldn't say I'm watching them every week, because I don't, but I've watched maybe 10 Marseille games. I watched them against Tottenham the other week. Yeah, and they weren't great, but I don't think Tottenham were great either. That was a boring match to watch, right? But I thought he played well in that game. And the one thing I like about Guendouzi is he never hides. He wants the ball. How many times, Dan, have we watched football matches, yeah, and we've gone, he's walking, he's hiding. Look at Xhaka, look at Ozil, look at Ramsey. They're all hiding. Like, to be fair, Ramsey to a lesser degree, because Ramsey did try and get on the ball a lot, yeah?
He had a bit of work rate, Ramsey, as well, yeah.
Yeah, but Guendouzi is a player that even if he's playing bad and he's giving the ball away, or the team are losing and they're playing crap, he'll go, give me the ball. I want to try and do something. I like that. It shows balls, man. How many players in our midfield have got balls? Does Odegaard go round and say, give me the ball constantly? No. Yeah, Thomas Partey, okay, cool, but totally too far back.
Tierney's the one for me that has got balls, I'd say.
Yeah, Tierney, Jesus now, he wants the ball all the time. Yeah, Martinelli's another one. But we're struggling here. Yeah, and you need players in midfield. Like, I wanted to sign James Madison. I'm shocked he's still at Leicester, mate.
Same, mate. And he's been, and do you know what? He's been killing it as well. And Leicester sit bottom of the table every week. He's the best player out of the 22 players. Not just Leicester's side. Against Tottenham, he was unbelievable, and they lost 6-2.
Mate, his goal was insane, bro. They've conceded more goals after 7 games, Leicester, than any team in Premier League history.
That's mad, isn't it?
Derby got relegated with 11 points, never conceded 22 after 7.
It's mad.
And he's scored a few goals. And this is the thing. Yeah. Oh, but we've got Odegaard. He's got a higher ceiling. What does that even mean? That just means he's been hyped up because he signed for Madrid at 15.
I'd actually disagree. As well.
Madison's clear, man.
I think Madison is unreal. I have this debate on this channel quite a lot, actually. And a lot of people in the chat have it with Lee Judges as well. They're like, no, Dan's got an agenda against Odegaard. No, I haven't. I actually like him. I've always said, I know you have, 100%. I know you have, brother. I know you have. But what I'm getting at is I actually do not have an agenda with Odegaard. I've said many times he's a technically gifted footballer. I need to see more goals and assists. He started the season well. I know he's had a knock and stuff of late, but he started the season well and he's scoring. But the reason I wanted James Madison was because, one, I see a better all-round player, and 2, I also believe he does the business. 18 goals and 12 assists last season. So Odegaard, 7 goals and 4 assists. So when I look at that, I think there is only one player clear. It's not like Madison got 8 goals last season and Odegaard got 7. Yeah, if that was the case, I'd be like, fair play.
Madison in Arsenal's team last season, we would have been Champions League.
I agree with you. That
ain't even a debate. And the thing is, when I watch Madison, and the thing is, people will always back Odegaard because he played for Madrid at 15. I couldn't give a shit if he was playing for Real Madrid All-Stars or an NFL team. I couldn't care less. He never played for Madrid at 15. He signed for Madrid at 15. Yeah. He never played for them. He played more games for Arsenal on loan, Dan, than he ever played for Real Madrid first 11. He could not displace a 37-year-old Luka Modric. Danny Ceballos can, by the way, because Danny Ceballos gets in their team. Yeah, Danny Ceballos plays for Real Madrid still. Playing. And guess what? I actually think, the Odegaard, in my opinion, is a better footballer. Yeah. But why is Ceballos getting that team? Because the manager sees something in him. And let's be real, he's one of the greatest managers in living history. Yeah, so he sees something in Danny Ceballos to say, yo, I'm not going to loan you out. You're not going nowhere, mate. I'm keeping you. Because when we had him, it was Zidane that was manager. When we had Ceballos. Ancelotti goes back there. Boom. You're staying here. You're staying here, mate. And let's have it right here, yeah? Ancelotti is smart. He was manager when we signed Mesut Ozil. Why did he get rid of Mesut Ozil? Oh, the best number 10, the best playmaker, the assist king. Why did he get rid of him? Because he don't score enough. He don't create
preaching to the choir there, brother. Yeah? Preaching to the choir there. I was never an Ozil lover.
Why did Real Madrid get rid of Martin Odegaard? Again, because he doesn't get in their team because he ain't good enough. Mesut Ozil under Jose at Real Madrid was a totally different animal than the player we had, mate. That guy was running, he was sprinting, he was working hard, he was scoring, he was taking players on, he was dribbling. He comes to Arsenal, and does what? Sits on his ass at Anfield. Oh, every time northeast or northwest, he'd miss it. Apart from one game at Newcastle where I see him and Xhaka both score in that game.
I remember that.
Newcastle.
Yeah, I remember that. And
for the geezer in the chat who says this guy rating Ceballos, did I say that? Maybe rewind it. I said I actually rate Odegaard better than him, but there's a reason why Ancelotti has Ceballos in their teammate. How comes this guy that is so technically gifted, so good to look at, he's got all this skill and all of this, how comes he can't get in the team over Modric? Modric is nearly 40, mate. How can he not get in the team over him? Yeah, Ancelotti wants work rate, like that guy said. Yeah, guess what? Martin Odegaard ain't giving you work rate, mate. Yeah, and then when he gets on the ball, he looks for an easy option. Yeah, he's not going to take the shot. We've seen it down this season. There was times this season already where he's had an opportunity to shoot and he goes to pass. Then there's a chance to pass and he shoots. He takes the wrong option too often. Yeah, and the thing
when he does shoot, like sometimes he gets it so wrong. Like the Man United one, that was awful.
Oh, the one where he shanks it on his left foot. Nearly went out for a throw-in unless Martinelli kept it in. And this is the difference. James Madison is more physical than him. Yeah, a little bit taller than him. Scores goals, creates more than him, and plays in a worse team. And actually says, yo, I'm going to boss today. Even if my team flop and my team are crap and they're bottom of the table and not won a game, guess what? Nobody can ever say that I've had a bad game. Yeah, that's why I like him. He wants the ball. He scores.
Yeah, goals, I like him a lot. And I like Odegaard. You know, I disagree with you on the agenda. I definitely haven't got an agenda. I know you don't like him. I do like him. I just don't really see why people can have a go when people question his numbers in terms of his goals and assists. So that's where I am on Odegaard.
The thing is he lays the pass off before the assist.
So, pre-assist. Pre-assist. Love that.
So if we're doing the pre-come assist, how far back do we go on that? Because when there's a team goal and the goalkeeper's touched it and laid it out to the left back into the centre back, so on and so on, you go, does that mean it's a pre-come assist? Does Ramsdale get credited with that? He doesn't, does he? But because these fans have never seen a proper number 10 at Arsenal, and I mean a proper number 10 at Arsenal, you've seen Bergkamp, I've seen Bergkamp. We've seen Merson. Yeah. You've seen Merson. Like, do you know what I'm saying? These people rate Mesut Ozil because of what he did at a club that weren't Arsenal. These fans rate Martin Odegaard because he signed for Madrid at 15. Who cares? What's he done for my club? Not a great deal. So I don't get where the love fest is with him. I know you're slightly different with it. And yes, on the ball, he looks good. But Dan, I want somebody to grab the fucking game by its nuts and say, I'm slapping that top bins today. And he did that last season. I can't remember what game it is. He slapped one in. I think was that Man United? Who was it again? Or was it Everton? I don't know.
Everton, last game of the season.
Yeah, he smashed one in from 30 yards. It's like, why ain't you done? Do you know what that reminded me of? Do you remember when Willian scored?
Oh, yeah.
It was like that. It was like, what, you want to do it now?
Now. It's too late now, the end of the season. Yeah. No, facts, man. Facts.
Mad.
Listen, let me up before I come to the weekend's game quickly, and I don't want to do too much on that. Let me bring this one in. Chaitanya. Big up Chaitanya, by the way.
He's a good boy, man.
He's a good boy, man. Well. Yeah, legend, man. Thanks for the super chat, bro. It says the process can't turn into progress until we sign up Saka, Saliba, and Martinelli on long-term deals. And he makes a great point, Lee. Do you know why? This is supposed to be a youth project and a process. If we sell these three or let them three go, we're selling the youth in a youth project. So this is so important, man. Now I'm encouraged and I have faith that they will sign. But if we're going to be really dangerous and leave it another year and we end up trophyless and outside of the Champions League, what do these three do, man? So where do you stand on this one? Do you feel have encouragement they're going to sign?
How long has Martinelli got? I'm sure Martinelli signed.
So Martinelli's not. So Martinelli. So they've all got till 2024, but Martinelli's got the option to extend his. The other two haven't.
Is that Martinelli's choice to extend it, or is that the club's choice to extend it?
I think it's Martinelli's
amount of period of time or games.
So I think Martinelli will get to the end of that 2024 and decide himself with his agent: do I want to take that option up or not?
Saka's the one, right? And to be honest, and Saka and Saliba are the one, right? Because, in fact, actually, I scrap that. Saliba's the best talent that I think we have defensively in our whole team, right?
I agree.
But in terms of our best attacking player, I think it's Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Saka. But Smith Rowe is always injured, so then you have to advance Saka in front of that. So. But in terms of who would buy these players and what value are they worth, I'd say Saka's probably the highest price out of them three attackers. But then if you add in Saliba, I think that Liverpool, Man City, Real Madrid, Barca, bro, they're all going to Bayern Munich. They're all going to come sniffing. I don't think that all of them teams will come in for Saka, but I do think that we'll get top dollar for Saka if we sell him. And I think he's destined to end up at City. Real talk, I think he's going City.
You reckon?
Maybe not this summer, maybe not next summer. At some point, he's going Man City. Yeah, and I think we heard, right, this manager say in April when he and March when he was asked, oh, Bukayo Saka's into the last 2 years of his contract, blah blah in the summer, blah 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 blah. You're going to be signing him up to a new deal. Yeah, we're going to sort that in the summer. Yeah, we're going to sort that at the end of the season. Okay, cool. Well, we're now into the third month of the season in a couple of days, and he still ain't signed the contract. We then see all the PR puppet journos put the thing out the other day saying, oh, yeah, Mikel Arteta said that, they're aligned on the same page. Saka then does an interview. Yeah, I concur with that. Well, we also see Arsenal and Aaron Ramsey have a little to and fro with a contract, didn't we? Yeah, where there was one on the table and, oh, yeah, I want to stay at the club and I want to do this. Well, he never did he? Yeah, we've seen Sol Campbell at Tottenham, and I know it's a different football club, but we've seen him saying, I'm staying. The next day he signs for Arsenal. So let's not take everything that this football club and these footballers and this manager is saying as gospel, right? Because it's a lot of PR, a lot of it. Bukayo Saka is a very talented footballer. I think he's massively overrated. I think our fans make out like he's Ronaldinho, bro. Yeah, which is why I put him to Ronaldinho standard. So when he plays like Bukayo Saka and not Ronaldinho, I'll call it out. And it's, you've got an agenda. No, stop putting him up here. He's 21. Yeah, just let him do what he's doing instead of hyping him up to be the best player in the league. It's pathetic. But I don't think he's leaving anytime soon. But I do think in the next 3 years, he'll be gone. He's 21. He's won Young Player, Arsenal Player of the Year 2 seasons in a row. He's not had a great start to the season, but he's still chipping in. If we don't win anything and don't qualify for Champions League, then potentially he could go, couldn't he? And there's been talk again of Bukayo Saka saying he wants to play Champions League football. Obviously, ideally, I think he'd want to do it with Arsenal. But at some point, mate, you've got to look at your career.
And what happens to you, Lee, if, because I asked this with Lee the other week, and it's a serious question, man, right? We were told we've been told for ages, if he gets to 2 years and they don't sign, we have to sell him. So that means at the end of this summer, if Saka, Martinelli and Saliba haven't signed that contract, all three of them, what do we sell them?
Well, they'll be into the last year.
So they have to go then, basically.
Well, that's what our
That's what they're
CEO
saying.
told us. Yeah, our CEO.
There you go.
Yeah, told us that, didn't he? Lying through his teeth. Same with Ralstonelli, who lied through his teeth. I think it was actually Vinay that said it, and he overspoke Sinelli. I'll have to double check it, but I'm pretty sure it was Vinay that said that. Yeah, and the thing is, Saliba is probably going to be the first one out the door out of the four of them, if you include Smith Rowe in that. I think Saliba will be the first one gone. Yeah, because I think he's way too good to be loitering around with Gabriel Magalhaes and Tomiyasu and Ben White. Like, leave Saka's up front with Jesus and Martinelli. I mean, it's a bit of a difference, isn't it? Yeah, but if you're partnering, I call him the bozo gene from now on, Gabriel Magalhaes. He's got a bozo gene, mate. Every game, he's got a mistake in him. Yeah. Yeah,
I like Gabriel, but he's
a good player, but he'll never be an elite player. Yeah, whereas I think Saliba can be a top world-class centre-back. Yeah, I've seen enough, mate. I've seen enough.
I said to Lee Judges, I reckon he's probably already, in my opinion, probably one of the best young players in the world right now in terms of his position. I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, tell me another centre back at 21 that was doing that at Arsenal, and I'm seeing him doing madness things. Mate. He's running games to the back, and that's the person I said. That's the one person I said. Tony Adams. He was doing that 17, 18, 19, captaining Arsenal and obviously his country. And for me, I've not seen a player like that. And I can understand. I don't like to compare players. I don't like to say Saliba's like Ferdinand. But I understand why Gary Neville used that scenario. Because that, for me, when I saw Rio at West Ham and Leeds, that's what the last time I thought, yeah, he's a centre-half. And Saliba, you have to go back that far for me. I think with Van Dijk and company and all that, they were kind of a bit later in their career. Like, so I saw Van Dijk at I don't know, his 20s at Liverpool, likewise with company at Man City, because he'd already done his young time at Anderlecht. For me, this guy looks so goodly, and I'm so impressed with what I've seen from him. And actually, do you know what's mad? Everybody said Gabriel was better than Ben White last season, and I'd agreed with that. Saliba's been better than Gabriel. So what does that make him? Do you know what I mean? So what I'm getting at is, with this guy, we cannot lose him. Now, I would say in terms of ceiling, he's the one right up there, ahead of Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe. For me, anyway, from what I've seen, Saliba's the one I'm looking at now going, yeah, I think you're the one who's going to be better than anybody. Now, if we're saying that, and the other three are close, by
the way, for signing him.
Yeah, great signing, eh? Great signing.
The Tierney at the back, Gabby in attack, by the way, he signed both of them as well.
Yeah. Oh, and Saliba, yes, that's three of them now. It's mad, isn't it?
Oh, he you can't mention it as well, didn't he? Or was he at Huddersfield then? I can't remember.
Saka gave him his debut, didn't he?
Yeah.
But I think, real talk though, man. Like if Saliba, let's just say things go great at Arsenal, they're all going to sign. If we're in a title challenge this season, they buy into the, it's going to go fine. But we always have to look at things if things don't always go out like that, because we could have a shocking season again. When I look at it, if we have Real Madrid and PSG sniffing around Saliba, which they already have been, by the way, he's going to look at that. If it's another trophy this season, a fifth place, or even if we get fourth,
even if he won the league with Arsenal, he's got no loyalty to Arsenal. He didn't come through our academy.
That's it. That's my worry, mate.
He ain't an Arsenal fan. They're like, they can say they're Arsenal fans and show pictures when they were wearing an Arsenal shirt when they were 9. Yeah, well, does that mean you're an Arsenal fan? Who's to say they ain't got one with a PSG shirt on? Who's to say they ain't got one with United shirt on? Like, you don't know, do you? And the thing is, even if he won a league with us or won a cup or whatever, where's his loyalty? Because it ain't to Arsenal, it's to himself, right? And I think we know deep down that guy's been pissed about by Arsenal. Yeah, loaning him out, and he must have been sitting there getting so irate. And fair play to him, because he had a 6th season at Marseille, qualified him for the Champions League, which, by the way, we're not in. Yeah, Guendouzi's in the Champions League. Lokonga ain't. Who's the better player? Oh, the one.
Do you know who else is? Do you know who else is in the? Do you know who else is in the Champions League? Nuno Tavares.
Yeah, Nuno Tavares. Kolasinac still plays for them as well, by the way. Alexis Sanchez plays for them.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does now. Yeah, they have.
Arsenal B team in the Champions League. Yeah.
And do you know what it is as well? What's funny? When I saw that Nuno Tavares, I thought, well, he ain't a left back. He looks all right on the ball going forward, but he ain't a left back. Marseille are like, oh, you're a left winger, mate. And he's banging goals in for Marseille at left wing. It's mad, isn't it? But yeah, sorry, go on, carry on.
Who knew, Dan? Yeah, who knew? But this is the thing. It's like he ain't got no loyalty to us. Bukayo Saka has got loyalty to Arsenal because he came through the academy. Smith Rowe as well. The problem with Smith Rowe, like I said, he's always injured, mate. If you type in Smith Rowe injuries transfer market, comes up with every injury he's ever had. Yeah, he's over double figures for injuries.
He did it. Do you remember he went to Leipzig at a young boy and he got injured for the whole season there as well, and he had to come back. I think he played one game or two
Reece Nelson. Reece Nelson's 22. Why is he always injured? Yeah, like he's constantly
terrible.
Injured.
He's terrible as well. I don't rate him at all.
Injured. Tomiyasu young. Why is he always injured? Tierney's super young, really. Yeah, but look what he's won. Yeah. But then look how many games he's missed. And it's like, I know they flog you to death these days, and there's so many games thick and fast, and you're playing constantly. I remember listening to Tierney on the podcast saying that he was playing with an injection in his ankle, or his thigh, or wherever it was. And he goes, I was only 75% fit, and I was coming up against the fastest right winger in the league. He goes, so I was just tactically fouling him, knowing that I'd get away with a few. Yeah, goes out to kick him a couple of times. I think it was an Aberdeen player or something, or Motherwell or someone. Yeah, but like he played half of his career at Celtic with injury, where he was being injected. And it's like, I just look at it and I think it's sad, really, because they start in, if you're good enough, you're old enough. I understand that. And it's always nice to see a kid come through the academy and that, yeah. But then there gets to a point where you have to manage them properly. And yes, we all want to see him. Like the perfect example, two perfect examples, actually, Wayne Rooney and Michael Owen. Both of them were finished by the time they were 30. Yeah, they shouldn't be finished at 30. But why? Because they were so
what a player.
good,
Owen, so injured. Was it 2006 for Owen for England?
Gareth Bale's another one. Finished at 30. Because they're so good. It's not finished. It's 28.
That is the best ever. Yeah, that is the best ever Talk Sport clip I've ever seen. He's finished, isn't he? He's not finished. He's 28.
I just don't know why Scotland are not picking Anthony Amy. It's because he's finished. He's not finished. He's 28.
That is the best. That is the best call I've ever heard on TalkSport, bro. That is by far the best. Absolute legend, man. Listen, before we wrap up, man, I want to do two things. I want to ask about Arteta quickly at the end and what it means for this season. But before I do that, bro, I know, man. Before we do that, brother, Spurs at the weekend, big game. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts going into this one, man?
Bro, it's going to be a tough game, and somebody quite rightly pointed out in my chat earlier that it's the first time we've faced Tottenham under Antonio Conte at our ground. Because last year it was Nuno. So yeah, we're also going to come up against a three at the back, or five, whatever way you want to call it. He's going to have three centre backs. I think Ben Davies is injured. Lloris came back off of French international duty real quick, but I think that's all a scam. I think Thomas Partey's hit and miss. I think, again, this guy, bro, Odegaard played 71 minutes the other night. It's all going to come down to what players come back in a good state. And not only that, what midfield we can put out. Because if Thomas Partey is missing, bro, if Thomas Partey is missing that game, we are going with Xhaka, Lokonga and Martin Odegaard.
Do you think, I asked this, my mate has said this, do you think he'll play Zinchenko instead of Lokonga?
But then Kieran Tierney went off injured the other day.
So apparently that was a head injury, so he'll be okay. That's what I've been told. But I don't know.
Concussion, I think he had,
yeah, so hopefully he'll be all right by then. But like the way I see it, and I don't actually mind Sambi Lokonga on the ball, but off the ball, he ain't ready, man.
Oh, he's wonderful.
And you can't go to Old Trafford and not put in a tackle. He put in 0 tackles at Old Trafford, man. You can't do that, man, right? And he was the DM, yeah. So for me, I think what he might do is go, if Partey's out, go Tierney left, as long as he's fit, Xhaka holding as in a DM role, and then Zinchenko like that left that Xhaka plays. That's what I think he might do ahead of Lokonga. I don't know. I might be completely wrong, and he might just stick with Lokonga. But would that even work? I don't know if that would even work, because Xhaka's playing so well in that position.
Has Zinchenko with Xhaka, have they done that in training? Like, obviously, we're going to know at some point. I mean, the club probably know whether Partey's going to make it for Saturday or not. Arteta probably knows already. So if that is the case that he isn't making it, Zinchenko's not on international duty. Granit Xhaka, I think, is. So now there's no opportunity until Wednesday?
That's true.
For them to actually do that partnership, Xhaka Zinchenko, and then put Tierney. But then you have to get all of your players back. You have to assess them all yourself, because some of the doctors at other places are not going to be, you're not going to take their word for it. You're going to want to do your own assessments on the players. Your equipment might be better than their equipment. You might figure out something that they didn't pick up on a scan or a blood test or whatever it may be, a urine sample. You might pick up something else that they've missed. So we've got maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to put a partnership together in midfield if Thomas Partey's missing. If it's Sambi Lokonga, I fear for us, mate. Real talk. Yeah, and
I think it'll make it difficult. I do.
And the thing is, I've seen a lot of people in my chat earlier saying, would you take Tomiyasu over Ben White at right back? Bro, who like, I don't rate Ben White one bit. I think he's actually had a good season so far. I think he's been pretty decent. Yeah, I think he has. The one thing I don't like about him this season, he don't overlap Saka. Since Saka's isolated, where we can get at them is their right-hand side. Yeah, their right centre-back.
Emerson Royale
and Davison Sanchez are absolutely garbage. That is where we can get them. And that is where Jesus and Martinelli need to be doing that little partnership they're building up. Quick little 1-2s. But that is where you now need Martin Odegaard running into the gap, running into the space. Is he going to do that? Can you rely on Odegaard to be running in, making Frank Lampard-esque runs into the box all game? Probably not. So now you've got to rely on Jesus or Martinelli playing 1-2s and doing it yourself. If Granit Xhaka plays, you can say, cool, Xhaka a push up there, which overlap Martinelli a little bit, and Martinelli can come inside, Jesus to get in there as well. But then if that's the case, and Zinchenko's in midfield with him, Xhaka's way up there, they can counter-attack like that. Yeah, we've seen that multiple times this season. They are not a great team, but they're very quick in transition from back to front, and they have got elite level players up front. If you give Harry Kane a sniff at the Emirates, mate, it's in the back of the net. You give Son a chance in the back of the net.
Son. Yeah, and do you know what? I think
play against us. Let's be real. He loves a game against Arsenal.
He does, and I still massively rate. Yeah, I was going to say, I still massively rate Kulusevski as well. I think he's been unplayable at times when Tottenham have played him, and I'm amazed that he hasn't actually played more, because he's the one that I wouldn't have dropped of the last few games. But it's mad. But like, I've gone for an Arsenal 3-2 win because I think it'll be a massive, like,
you think a classic? I said this. I think it'll either be a ball fest
or it's going to be a wicked game, man.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think
it'll be. It ain't going to be like a 2-0, 3-0 to one of the teams. It ain't. It'll be a classic, and both teams will score goals. And I do think we'll win this one, just because I think the home advantage is like a 12th man. Good name of a podcast, that actually, isn't it? But I do feel like it will be, and I do believe that will just get us over the line. But this ain't going to be easy. Believe it or not, Arsenal against Conte is actually a good record. It's probably a bad.
Yeah, we beat him in the final. I was at the game in 2017.
Yeah, the Emirates against Chelsea, I remember as well. Cahill
we sacked him up. Ozil and Sanchez scored that day, didn't they? And then he ripped up his plan and won the league.
He did. Yeah. That was when he went, oh, bugger this, I'm going back free. We're going to go win the league now. Yeah. So, listen, it's going to be tough, man. It really is. But I'm going to go. What are you going score prediction, man?
Do you know what? I didn't give my score prediction on my channel, and I knew you'd force me.
Oh, do you want to do it? Oh, don't do it then, man.
No. I'll give you. I'll give you. As it stands right now, on Monday the 26th at 8:15 Spanish time, as I'm watching, I can see Martin Odegaard. By the way, he's sat on Gibraltar Rock. He's waving the Norwegian flag at me, Gibraltar Guard. And mate, the wind out here has been ridiculous. It's coming off the Sahara. It's like couldn't even go to the pool today. It's been that windy. Score prediction. As it stands right now, I'm going to say 2-2.
Okay.
2-2. But that may change. I want to know who's fit from their team. I want to see who's fit from our team. So the later down the week, the prediction may change. As it stands right now on Monday, listen, Harry Kane might get injured tonight and break a leg. Who knows? Yeah, but similarly, Saka could do likewise. Yeah, we don't know. We're playing Germany tonight. Who knows? You know, there could be other players that are on international duty that could do a hamstring and they'll be out for the game. So as it stands on Monday, I'm saying 2-2. The closer it gets to the game, I'll probably tip Arsenal, because we do love to play this lot at our ground, don't we? Like we
do, man.
Beat them. Even if we're shit down, we beat them. But
yeah.
As it stands, I'll say 2-2, purely based on the fact that their strike force is a joke. Yeah, and the thing is, people are saying they've been playing crap this season. They ain't been great. but they ain't lost a game yet, and they've conceded 7, the same as us, and they've scored 1 more than us. So yeah, I'll go 2-2, Desmond.
Fair play to you, man. I don't think that's a crazy prediction at all. I think it's going to be tough, of course, but I'm going to just say, just nick it for the Arsenal. Last of all, man, because I know we've just run over. I like to try and keep these to an hour, but I've got to ask you this because I got asked this the other day, and I thought I'm going to ask Lee this. I'm going to give you some scenarios of Arsenal season, and I want to tell you what you believe, not what you do, because I know the answer would be sack Arteta, whatever. So I want to ask you what you think should happen for if these scenarios occur. So we go trophyless and we come 5th. I think everybody can admit that he needs to go, right? And I'm talking about Arteta here. Yeah. If we win the Europa League and we finish outside of the top 4, what do you think will happen?
They'll keep him. I'd still sack him, but they'll keep him. The aim of Elite Sport Dan is to win trophies. So if he wins a trophy, they're keeping him. Yeah, and I will celebrate the Europa League, but at the same time, yeah, I still want him sacked. Yeah, because it's now, okay, cool, we've won the Europa League, we're in the Champions League, now let's go and get a proper manager. So that's what I'd do.
Okay. What about if we miss out on the Champions League, we get dumped out of the Europa League, but we win the FA Cup?
Still sack him, but I think they'll keep him. I think, Dan, real talk, yeah, if he finishes 5th, doesn't win a trophy, I think they still keep him anyway.
That's what I said. I said this as well. It's part
of the process that has no end date.
And do you know what they'll say is? They'll say there's another window. We've got to get another window.
We were so close. We was only 1 point behind.
No, I'm with you, brother.
We got stitched up by the refs and VAR. And Dan, it's always an excuse. They fancy Arteta. Like, do you remember? Like, you'll remember this, Dan. You've been going to games a long time, yeah? Right? Do you remember when they had the pictures of Alexis Sanchez's dogs?
And his dogs.
Right? But now, and that's to rip them down when he left to Man United, by the way. But now it's we've got Super Mick Arteta. You know, no, it's not that one. What is it? He's the
best looking Spaniard we know.
Best looking Spaniard we know, and it's a picture of Arteta. Why is that a banner at the stadium?
Weird.
Yeah, because it's all about sucking people into. Oh yes, look, he's building something. And listen, to be fair, start of the season you can't fault him, apart from the United game where he was an idiot, right? But if you want this process, project, whatever you want to call it, to bang, well, you should be beating every team we've beaten. If you want to be taken seriously after doing nearly 400 million quid, you should have won every game. Yeah, fair enough. Man United's different. Yeah, we don't really win at Old Trafford. So I can kind of understand that if we don't win. But I even said, I think it may have been with you. I even said, I think we'll win 6 or 7 out of the first 8.
I said 5. I said the first 5. Do you know why I said the first 5? Because we had United at Old Trafford, number 6. And guess what happened? We lost.
Yeah, first
it's mad.
And we lose.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It is absolutely mad.
Not like we've been doing this for 20 years, Dan.
Listen, man, it's one of those, and I wanted to ask you. I knew what your answer was going to be, but I wanted to make sure you're on the same page as me, bruv. Before we do go, I've got to put this comment up. It's absolute class from Shoddingham's Cats.
Southgate's playing a 7-3-1 tonight. What is the squad? Should we get this?
I don't actually know, bro. Is it on? Is it up yet? It should be, shouldn't it?
What is the actual Let's have a quick look at the starting 11. Yeah. Here we go.
Go on, man. I'll let you do that because
Pope's in goal. John Stones, Eric Dyer, Harry Maguire. Jesus Christ.
Oh, you're joking.
Reece James, right wing back. Luke Shaw, left wing back. Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham. Phil Foden, Raheem Sterling, Harry Kane.
So basically, he's dropped Saka for Shaw, and that's it, isn't it?
Oh my days! Ivan Toney's on the bench. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. So Kieran Trippier, Aaron Ramsdale. Why did Ramsdale even go? He should just stayed at home. Jordan Henderson, Kyle Walker, Connor Cody, Guy. Saka's on the bench. Mason Mount, Tony, Chilwell, Henderson, Sammy Abraham. Where's Grealish?
He's not in there, is he? And where's Trent?
Trent's not there. Grealish ain't there.
He's got something against Grealish as well. I know he brought him on the other day, but he don't like playing this guy, does he? It's mad. It's mad.
Their team, very quickly, it's a Stegen, Kerrer, I think I've butchered that, Sule, Schotterbeck, Raum, Gundogan, Kimmich, Hoffman, Masuela, Leroy Sané, and Kai Havertz. Shai Havertz. You watch Shai Havertz score against us tonight, and he's done nothing for Chelsea apart from a Champions League winner. Serge Gnabry's on the bench. So is Matthias Ginter. Who else? Timo Werner, Thomas Muller. Thomas Muller seems to have never aged. Like literally.
Yeah, isn't it weird? How old is he now? Oh,
Bro,
by the way,
he's about 33,
Grealish is suspended. Apparently, I didn't realize that.
Oh,
Grealish
is
is suspended.
suspended.
Apparently so. Yeah.
Really? That's mad. Yeah, Thomas Muller, by the way, is 33 years old and he still looks the same as he did when he was 17.
23. Yeah.
It's mad. Mate, and he looks German as well, doesn't he? Like, if you say, what does a German guy look like? Thomas Muller's the guy that pops up in your head. Yeah, people say I'm German. Blonde hair, blue eyes and all that. I don't know. I get told
I thought that was Dutch, man. I thought that was Dutch. Yeah.
I say all the time. German, Dutch, Swedish. Like, as long as I don't say Norwegian, I'm cool. Odegaard, yes.
Man, legend as always, brother. Listen, get yourself over to Lee Gunner. Subscribe. He's on like 72,000 or something mad like that. Is that right? 70 something?
I don't even
something
know
like that, aren't you?
Let me have a look.
I'm sure it is something like that.
73,369.
There we go. Get yourself over, support the content. Lee Gunner's always live, man. So go shout him up. Mate, there's 143 likes, man. Come on, we've had well over 400 odd watching. Make sure you smash that, get that up to over 200 odd before we finish, man.
Nibble at the likes like rats.
You love it, man. Listen, thanks so much, bro. I really love
I appreciate you. Dan, anytime I'm available, mate, you know I'm jumping on you. So yeah, big up for having me on. Appreciate it, man.
Come on, man. You're a legend, man. And appreciate your support for the channel, man. Make sure you're all liking the content. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm on my way to 6K, guys. So thank you so much for getting me from 5K up to nearly 5.5 now already. You lot are mad. Thanks so much for that. That means the absolute world. I never thought I'd be getting that at this time. So thank you so much, guys. If you can help me on the road to 6, that'd be great. Enjoy the England game. Try to enjoy the England game. And we will see you next time. Take it easy, guys. See you soon.